Let's go, girl.
Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe.
It's Women Talking Football, or WTF for short, of course, not to be confused with WFT, like some people like to call us. We are the Women, a pair of producers that sit here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Not this week because we are pre-recording, but we are running the ship. My name is Mallory Hartley. I'm the associate producer here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Dave Campbell's Texan Live, sitting here once again at the host's seat for some reason. But sitting over there, who's usually sitting here, it is the executive producer of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texan Live. It's AP. It's Miss Ashley Pickle.
I always feel like I need to yo, you know, walk
I love
out like
doing
a
that too because it throws you off guard.
It
too,
really does because it's pretty calm and then
The first time I ever did that too, I leaned back and I was like, AP. And you're like, okay, chill out. It's
really, our boss is gonna walk by and be like, we're shutting this down.
Why do we give these people a show? Why do we give these women a show? But anyways, like we said,
women do be talking.
Women do be talking though. We are an internet show. We're here every Thursday at 2 p.m. talking high school football around the Lone Star State. Except for this week, you are watching us at 2 p.m. on Thursday, but we are actually pre-recording this show. Right now, it is 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning because
sorry, guys, I had
you got some business to attend
take care of.
I
got my business pants on.
I wish you guys could see her. She looks fantastic, by the way. But she's got these heels. Can you show the lovely camera?
I don't have them on right now. Yeah, we'll
Your
show
beautiful
these off.
hairs.
Oh, mind showing those off. Look at that.
I love those.
Man, I will say, when I got them, I realized they're the two-tone blue, and
you love the two-tone blue. Everybody loves the two-tone blue.
Ish is super big on two-tone blue because it's the Titans color, and so he was like, two-tone blue. I was like, oh man, I don't want to look like I'm repping the Titans, so I just wore the dark blue for the Cowboys.
I love it. You know, when we're in Houston next for a Texan Live business trip or something, we need to go to Sweeney's softball field because if you guys don't know, the Sweeney softball field down there in the Houston area is the two-tone blue. The infield is like a light blue and the outfield is a dark blue. But it looks really cool. Really, really cool. Really different. You know, I've never seen something like that before.
Yeah, you see the Boise State kind of stuff, but you don't see it on any other fields. It's cool. The softball field is really cool.
Yeah, like the Canutillo field is basically Boise State. But yeah, it's really cool, really pretty. We need to go check that out because we love two-tone blue.
We do.
This is episode 16 of Women Talking Football. We're almost episode 20. That's wild.
That is crazy.
16 weeks of this.
Well, that's wild. I mean, we're in week 10 of the high school football season. Where
to go?
What happened?
What happened? Nobody even knows. On today's show, let's go way out east to the East Texas region. We've already covered the Piney Woods region, so this episode is going to be all about what we consider as the East Texas region. We'll start off with the Huddle Up, of course. We'll tell you all of the different games that you can watch this week on Texan Live, all the way from football to water polo. I believe we've got some cross country in the mix as well. But
cross country's next week. But you can't. Literally team tennis happening. Team tennis. That's what I was thinking of. NFHS.
Yeah. So we'll get to all that in just a second. We'll have Miss Ashley Moore from KYTX CBS 19 out there in East Texas come on and give us her take on the East Texas region. She's actually from Longview, so she's got some good takes out there. We're excited to have her on. And then, of course, in the back half of the show, we will give the other Ashley, will give you her take, and me as well, on the East Texas region through ranked teams, players to watch, and, of course, our favorite stonks. So
Stonks.
There you go. Stay tuned for that. But before we get to all that East Texas wildness, let's start with the Huddle Up.
The Huddle Up.
Now, I was a little, I like that little headline. That's cute. On them fools. I love that. I had to bring light to that real quick.
Y'all should not allow me to think of, like, on TFT, Teffer tells me what to put on the lower third. This is why.
Yeah,
because if not, I have too much control.
Exactly. Now, for this segment, I always like to try and find cool things that women do in sports. You know, not necessarily just in Texas, obviously, as you can see, but pretty much anywhere in the world.
We love all the women.
We love all the women in sports. We are big supporters of them. But this one was a little interesting. So I was looking. This happened about a week and a half ago, probably maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago in their game, this lady called, or I guess woman called Bella Rasmussen from Laguna Beach High School. She's a Laguna High School beach running back. Becomes the first female athlete to score 2 varsity football touchdowns in California high school history, which is pretty cool. She did it in a 48-0 win over Santa Ana something. I can't pronounce that last name, but what's really cool about this is that she is actually the 8th female in California history to score a varsity football touchdown, but she is the first to score 2 touchdowns in a single game. She had 1 touchdown that was equaled 1 yard, and then she had a 4-yard rushing touchdown.
Nice. So they were like, that's actually, that's almost more impressive in my mind because I didn't turn off my sound. That's almost more impressive in my mind because if you would have told me she like got the ball and like broke out for a 40-yard run, it's like, okay, like that's big. But for them to specifically say, hey, we need someone to pound the ball in real fast, like we need power to get the rock into the end zone, like that's not something that you see often. I would think more often than not it's like, oh, she's super fast and she just literally broke free. Like,
no, that's a really good point.
The muscle, like, hell yeah, sister.
Yeah, they were in a situation down there in the end zone and they needed somebody who was going to be strong enough and fast enough to punch it in.
Yeah,
and they were like, we know the woman.
We got
Miss
her.
Bella, let's put her in. And sure enough, she did the job beautifully. And I found this quote from her that I really, really liked. It said, if I don't do my job, if I don't protect myself and do what I'm taught to do, then yeah, I absolutely could get hurt. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to you got to be the hammer and not the nail. I love that.
Let's go.
I really like that quote. I think you can apply that to almost any situation.
Yeah,
in
no
life.
kidding.
You know, you can either be the alpha or you can be the one that, oh no, I spilled my coffee. Is that not so on brand for me?
For those who don't know, Mallory spills her coffee at least once a week.
I'm so
not
clumsy.
On the Rutgers beanbag.
It barely got on the Rutgers beanbag. It's just right here. But
you are the Rutgers fan, so
I am the Rutgers fan.
If anyone's going to ruin it, that's you. Anyway, going back to that, yes, that's a fantastic quote. Like, you can either take life by the hand or you can let life smack you upside the head.
Yeah.
That's basically
that's literally exactly what she said. And I read most of the article. I read a couple of the articles that did a report on her, and she was saying that at first, when she first started playing, she's been playing since she was probably pee-wee football. I mean, so she's been playing for a couple years now. But she said that at first when she started playing that she was not very well supported by her teammates. Like, they would kind of make fun of her and call her names and stuff like that. But obviously, as the maturity got there, you know, and the boys started to mature a little bit more and stuff like that, they became way more supportive of her. So she says as of right now, she feels like she's very, very well supported by her teammates and her coaches and her family. And so
that's awesome. Way to stick it through too, because that can, like, I mean, if it does, like, if she's being honest about it, not going like super smooth, you know, to start off with.
I mean, she could quit like right then and there, and then it'd be completely done from then. But yeah, that's super cool news for her. Also, the LA Rams invited her to go watch a game at SoFi Stadium.
Let's go.
So I saw that tweet and I was like, that is awesome.
That is really cool.
Good for her.
Yeah, for anyone who's listening on the podcast and not watching, the things at WTF Huddle up, California girls scoring TDs on them fools. So
yeah, we gotta clarify that for the
podcast listeners.
For the podcast listeners, but
so
you should definitely watch it.
What was the name of the school? Laguna Beach?
It was Laguna Beach High School, yes.
You know how cool it would be? I don't know, maybe it's just because we grew up down here, but like to say I go to Laguna Beach High School, like that just sounds cool.
I meant to research that school a little bit just before.
It sounds
I bet you it's on the beach or close to the beach.
Would make sense.
Why did we go there?
It better be like some sort of aquatic animal.
Let's see. Laguna Beach High School. Because Laguna Beach is an actual thing.
It's a city.
It's an actual city?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh my. Okay, well, it looks beautiful, first of all. Let's see.
You're watching live coverage of us looking up California mascots. Like, if it's not like
Beach
a
high school
tarpon or something, I'm going to be upset. Or the marlins.
Okay, I did not find the mascot, but do you want to hear the school's motto?
Okay.
Catching waves to success. They took it and ran with that.
Here's my alley. There's where that hits.
I was like, why don't we go to this school? I mean,
we're gonna figure out, it might be next week, but we're gonna figure out what the mascot is, and we can't ask the commenters because we don't have live comments. So anyway, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, there you go. There's some cool stuff that women have done. In other words, California girls scoring TDs on them fools.
Do you think we can convince Adam in the off season to let us go out to Laguna Beach High School?
Oh, absolutely. We could absolutely.
WTF live from Laguna Beach High School.
All right. She can be our special guest and everything. Okay. Yes. Miss Bella Rasmussen, if you are by chance watching this show, we're coming out and you're going to be our first live guest on Women Talking Football. So
we're going to make
be prepared, girl. We're going to run your highlights all over the show.
Yeah, we're going to need that Huddle film, girlfriend.
We're going to need that Huddle film. I hope that's there. Oh, I love it. But there you go. There's some cool women in sports news for your lovely Thursday afternoon. So now let's head over to AP for your Week 10. Oh my gosh. Texan Live viewing guide on TexanLive.com.
Yeah, we've got this week and then one more, and we're in the playoffs. Like,
jeez.
I know Tepper tweeted out something last night he was like, I'm doing some work for playoff stuff, and someone was like, playoffs? And it's like, howdy, folks, whether you're ready or not, here we come.
It's here.
I know everyone's excited. We are excited too, but we've got some great games to start rounding off the regular season. The one I want to point you to, we have a really big game actually on Thursday night up here in the DFW. At 7 o'clock p.m., Denton Geyer will be heading out to McKinney ISD Stadium to take on Marcus Shavers and his Fighting McKinney Bulldogs. Oh, that's bad.
McKinney Lions.
There we go. Good job.
It's week 10, guys.
It's week 10. Sorry, Shavers. But anyway, very excited for that one on Thursday night. If you're looking for one down in the Houston area,
Tascasita.
North Shore at Tascasita, duh.
Yeah.
I forgot that one was on Thursday. I was thinking that one was on Friday. Yeah, North Shore at Tascasita out at Rhodes. Coach Eric Folkert's on the call there. So 2 really big games. Yeah. You can split screen that right there. Moving on into Friday, I think that the big headline would be Fulshire and Manville trying to figure out who's going to win that district. I think that Fulshire is in the driver's seat there, but that one will be very interesting. Fulshire has that really explosive offense, so interested to see how Manville's defense kind of steps up to the plate there. We also have Nederland and PNG. I don't need to say anything else about that one. It should be a lot of fun there. And then, let's see, we will scroll down to Saturday. We have 4 games stretching from noon all the way down to 7. So I'll just go ahead and read those off real fast. At noon, you've got Cy-Fair and Cy Ridge. Trevor Bullard on the call. At 1, you have Dayton and Fort Ben Willow Ridge. Chase Snyder on the call. 2, Waller and Klein Kane. Jay Dunson on the call. And then 7 o'clock p.m., Cy Ranch and Langham Creek. That'll be Gavin and I think our very own Matt Stepp hopping on color. So Gavin and Stepp, if you have not heard them call a game together, that is a real treat that we can provide you.
That's a dynamic duo right there.
Yeah, so 7 o'clock p.m. I will say there is a lot of rain in the forecast, specifically for Friday. So if any games end up getting moved, we should still have them. We'll kind of be updating you on that. It's at Texan_live on Twitter. We'll try and keep you updated on if those games are moving around or not, or moving to Saturday. So there you go. Week 10, a lot of good games. Big Thursday slate.
You can watch it all on TexanLive.com. And yeah, I think it's supposed to rain pretty much everywhere around the state on Friday. So that's why I'm looking for a Thursday game. Actually, I have my Thursday game. I just haven't been approved for credentials yet. So that's why.
You're going out to Frisco, right?
Yeah, Frisco Reedy, Frisco Heritage.
Nice. Yeah,
so that should be a really good district matchup there. Really excited to see that at the Star. We love the Star. So. All right, Pickle. We are Women Talking Football. We're here every Thursday at 2 p.m. to talk regions of high school football around the state of Texas. And now, let's hear a good word from our friends at VCR Now.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
All right, Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's bring in an East Texas expert from the day she was born. Miss Ashley Moore, sports anchor at KYTX CBS 19. Ashley, how you doing?
I'm good. I like that. Football, sports expert since the day I was born. I get that. I was born in Longview, Texas, for those who didn't know. So, yeah, it's a place to be born in football, too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Such great football out there. But before we get to all that nitty-gritty football talk, we like to hear a little bit more, learn a little bit more about our guests that we bring on here for Women Talking Football. So give us your elevator pitch. Who are you, and how did you get to the point that you are now?
Well, I am Ashley Moore, sports anchor at CBS 19. Right now, our big thing is football. Football. I was brought up into a town of football, but my favorite sport is actually basketball. I grew up playing basketball. I still, to this day, can break the ankles of most
I love it, ma'am.
Okay. But, being around sports, playing in sports my whole life, I wasn't ready to give it up after high school. I'm 5'2". I'm not going to be on anybody's professional team. I tore my ACL in high school. So I went to college to be a chemical engineer. Whew. And then I just missed sports so much. I was just like, you know what? Let me give up all this money and go into journalism. So
yeah,
I gave up all the money, and now I'm in East Texas.
Yeah, you're certainly not in this industry for the money. So, girl, you must have a real passion for it. Super excited that you're like Ashley Pickle and I over here. But how cool. So you said you're from Longview and you actually went to Longview High School. How cool is it that you are out there in East Texas and you actually get to cover Longview on a daily basis?
It is great because I know everybody here. I was born and raised here, grew up in the churches here, went to Longview. I was, one of the star basketball players when I was here. So I know everybody. So it's cool because, when I'm on campus, people always go, what store are you working on? What store are you working on? And everybody's so willing to help. I mean, that's just the East Texas thing, though. Mm-hmm. Everybody's always nice. But when you do big football stories like, with the Longview Lobos, Coach King, he's telling people before I meet him that I went to Longview. You know what I mean? So the sense of community and, being able to do this in my hometown and tell great football stories, because there's some great stories out here in East Texas. And I've told a few of them. And it's just so easy to do it when you grew up in the traditions and the history.
Absolutely. Is Coach King over there giving you a couple of inside scoops there? I would hope.
None that I can share that I haven't already shared.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Well, you just kind of mentioned it. You said that you get to cover a lot of great storylines out there in East Texas, in Longview as well. So what are a couple of those big storylines out there that you think people across the state of Texas should really know about the East Texas region?
Ooh, about the region as a whole. I mean,
or it could be about Longview as well.
I mean, that too, But no, people should really take a look at the economic impact, in sports solely from East Texas. We have Patrick Mahomes, the $500 million contract. He's from White House. Trent Williams, the highest paid left tackle in the history, the highest paid offensive lineman in the history of the NFL. He's from Longview. The things in which Adrian Peterson, Earl Campbell, Longview having the most NFL players come out of Longview, come out of a high school in the state of Texas. Just the economic impact. And now that NIL is going to college, that's a whole different level. But the economic impact the East Texas region has in the NFL, because, it's a lot of stories out there. It's a lot of guys, who will make it to the NFL, maybe last couple weeks and then go and play in the Canadian Football League. We have Pete Robinson right now in the Canadian Football League from Longview. But the pipeline, it's like, you have Friday Night Lights out in West Texas. Something like that needs to be done in East Texas, because these guys, these high school programs are like college programs, and it is just something to behold.
Man, they don't call it Beast Texas for nothing.
Right.
A couple of those Beast Texas teams that we think obviously have a really good shot to be making it down to AT&T Stadium, or over, I guess, to AT&T Stadium come December. Specifically, Longview and Gilmer. What is the vibe around those two towns specifically this year, with the cusp of another state championship right in the forefront of their minds?
Well, Longview, everybody feels it in Longview for sure. I mean, they have the #1 ranking in the state. The toughest test was against Lancaster, and, Longview got that dub. Jalen Hale, Taylor Tatum, Longview right now is feeling like this is going to be, another 2018 year. Undefeated right now. The team is clicking on it. 69-0. Who puts up a score 69-0? Right. The team is clicking. And the hype is real. Coach King knew the hype. He knew the hype before the season started. The players knew the hype before the season started, and they are continuing the excellence. And the city knows it. Wherever you go, people want to talk Longview football. That's just how it is. Same thing over there in Gilmer. But Gilmer has such a standard of excellence. That everybody just, it's known. Coach Metzel's team, Coach Alan Metzel, he inherited the team. We all know the big Jeff Traylor. The legacy Jeff Traylor left is still there. The discipline. If you go to Gilmer, you see the football players, they are one of the most disciplined teams out there. And I think that's the difference, because they have a brand new quarterback. It was Brandon Tennyson last year. His brother, Caden Tennyson, is now the quarterback, and they're still undefeated. Still knocking off ranked teams in our East Texas rankings. It's a standard in Gilmer. Longview, everybody's super hype, blah, blah, blah. Gilmer, it's a standard. They were there last year, lost last year. It's a standard to be back. And, but when you're two powerhouse programs like that, hey, it's honestly a standard. Longview made it 22 consecutive years, but, it's, Beast Texas football.
Absolutely. And like you just mentioned, everybody knows the names Longview and Gilmer and Tyler Chapel Hill and everything out there. Are there any teams that you think maybe aren't currently ranked or aren't making much noise right now that could make a pretty decent run in the playoffs in a couple weeks?
So there's I'm monitoring Friday. Okay, I'm monitoring this upcoming Friday. So there's a big matchup. There's a school that is ranked, Texas High. They're playing White House. Now, White House, clearly 5A Division II school. Last year, they have a new coach. This is the second year, Coach Kyle Westerberg. Last year, they won 2 games all season. This year, they are 7-1. Their one game came on a fluke loss to Nacogdoches, which is the team that almost beat Texas High last week. And the Nacogdoches only has 1 win on the season, which is the crazy part. In the 2 biggest games they've had, they either won or almost won. But White House is 7-1 right now. Only 1 loss in the district. Their quarterback, Josh Green, this guy here, he can throw it and he can run it. This last week, he had 3 touchdowns in the air, 2 on the ground. White House is a team to watch this year, I think, on the 5A level. Just, discipline, knocking it on all cylinders. Their defense can step up in big games. They're a team to watch, I believe, in 5A. Now, I'm going to go all the way down to 2A for this one. but the Beckville Bearcats, currently unranked, but their only loss this season is to Timpson. And we all know about Timpson, okay, and Terry Bussey. But their only loss this season is to Timpson. They had a 1-point win against Joaquin. I believe Timpson and Joaquin just played each other, and Timpson really won. But, I mean, since then, 7 straight wins, undefeated in district. They have this kid, Jacoby Williams. He's a running back. This man had 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. With 12 carries, ended up having 5 touchdowns. Like, that's another team to watch. Beckville Bearcats, clearly district favorites. I think they're going to take it pretty far in playoffs as well.
Yeah, a couple of our members down here at DCTF went over to the Beckville-Timpson game. Ashley Pickle, you were there.
I was.
At that game. So, yeah, definitely no doubt about that. They are the real deal. But let's go ahead and transition over to players. Now, you have already mentioned some of the big-time players that have come out of just Longview. You know, you got Willie Andrews and, of course, Patrick Mahomes out of White House. Are there any names now? You've already mentioned Jalen Hale, but are there any names that you know, people across the state of Texas should be keeping their eye on?
Oh, absolutely. There's so many names in East Texas. Just with running backs, you have Kevin Pierce out of Troop. I think he's committed to Lamar right now, but this kid just finds open field. I watched him run an 85-yarder, you know, straight up the middle. You have Isaiah Ross out of Kilgore. I'm sure y'all know who that is. I'm sure he was a finalist for one of the Player of the Weeks. But Ricky Stewart out of Chapel Hill, Colin Lewis out of Gladewater. This kid is a two-way athlete, good on the football field and the basketball court. But I went to their game. They did this big tribute to one of their old segregated schools before it became desegregated. And he saw the camera rolling. Within the first 10 seconds, he had a 45-yard touchdown. And then in that same quarter, he lined up a Wildcat, took the ball and ran it 80 yards to the house for a touchdown. This is all in the first quarter.
Jeez.
I'm just like, wow. Yeah, Colin Lewis out of Gladewater. I mentioned Jacoby Williams, the running back. I'm at a White House, Jamon McCoy, who's with Josh Green. I mean, we got one of the McCown kids out here doing this thing, Aiden McCown, Josh McCown's son. This kid has the wheels on him. He's the quarterback, but you let him, you know, get that one step on you, it's over. But yeah, I mean, so many talented players. You got Willie Nelson out of Longview in the secondary. This man, you throw it in his direction, he will snag the ball and intercept it and run it back. But yeah, so many talented players in East Texas. I just couldn't even stop at 1. I couldn't stop at 10.
Oh, I know. I mean, we have a Players to Watch segment 2 each week talking about each region, and it was hard to pick just 6. I mean, we narrow it down to 6 for time purposes, and sometimes I got to sneak another one in there just because it's so hard to choose. But yes, to that point, so many talented players in East Texas out there. But before we let you go, I'm always interested. Now, we love to ask this question because Ashley Pickle and I are big foodies here on the show. Now, if we're ever in the Longview area or maybe around it, where should we stop before going to a game to eat lunch?
Oh, so many good spots. I don't know what kind of food y'all like, so I'll give y'all a couple recommendations.
We like anything.
Well, burgers. If you like burgers, like juicy, like diner type burgers, there's this place called the Butcher Shop. So the Butcher Shop has the burgers. They got chicken too, but they also have a bakery inside the Butcher Shop. So if you want to get you some dessert on the way out, some cupcakes, or some slice of pie, you know, something like that, Butcher Shop. Fisherman's Market, catfish. I don't know if y'all like catfish, but that is
ma'am. Love me some catfish.
Catfish. Stop at Fisherman's Market in Longview. If you like some quick to get Chinese food, some of the best Chinese food is at the China Max in the Longview Mall. Bourbon chicken. Their bourbon chicken is the best in the city. Okay, in the mall. Okay, yeah.
That's an unexpected one.
Stores.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and then, you know, after the game, you know, if y'all stay overnight, you know, y'all want a margarita, you know, best margaritas in town are at this spot called El Sombrero.
I'm writing that down right now.
Okay, I was just going to say, there's the real information.
Let me get a pin real quick.
yeah, that was just a couple, give you a nice little variety just in case, you don't know what you're feeling.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all those food recommendations. And Ashley, thank you, of course, for joining us here on Women Talking Football. We're almost done with the regular season, so definitely good luck out there and stay safe.
Oh, yeah. Make sure y'all tune into the Under the Lights kickoff show on CBS 19, the only live pregame show in the market. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's
and then we, of course, have a postgame show, too. So thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. There she goes. It's Miss Ashley Moore, sports anchor at KYTX CBS 19. You can follow her on Twitter at Ashley Moore. That's ASHLEY Moore, MOORE. Add an extra E for all your East Texas sports news.
I love the margarita recommendation. Finally,
she knows us.
Someone gives us the recommendation. We were actually
we're actually not a food podcast. We are a margarita podcast. But love those recommendations. Definitely going to have to check that out. All right, AP, you just heard Ashley's take on the East Texas region. Now you get to hear the other Ashley's take on the East Texas region. And then mine too, I guess. I'll stick myself in there as well.
We're all Ashley.
We're all Ashley. I am Ashley
today.
I'm Ashley number 3.
3.
On the show. But anyways, there are a bunch of teams in the East Texas region. 76 teams to be exact, and only 7 of those teams are in fact ranked. So let's go ahead and get straight into it, starting with 5A Division 1. You've heard about them already, and we're going to keep talking about them. Number 1 in 5A Division 1 is Longview. They're 8-0 on the season, a powerhouse in East Texas. We will, of course, talk more about them a little bit later. Moving down to 5A Division 2, you've got number 4, Texarkana, Texas High. You heard Ashley's take on them playing White House this week, so keep an eye out for that game.
Yeah, that's a really tasty game. I'm glad she brought that one up.
Yeah, it's kind of under the radar a little bit.
Under the radar, yeah. There's some big headliners, and this is probably like tier number 2, but it's at the top of tier number 2.
Right. They are 7-1 on the season. Of course, only one loss coming from Frisco Lone Star this season. And it was really, really good game. Only lost by like 5. So.
Yeah, which is crazy because that's not aging super well.
No.
Like Lone Star is
they've got some questions.
They got
some question marks around them. And
yeah, that's crazy that's the one. But they have some other big wins on the season too. Very interested by that game.
Yes. Yeah, Coach Stanford's done a phenomenal job over there coaching his program up to be almost a powerhouse out there in way East Texas. That's like on the border.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on down to 4A Division 1. Coming in at number 8, we've got Kilgore, 7-2 on the season. We'll talk more about them a little bit later when we highlight District 9 4A. And speaking of that same exact district, you've got number 9, Tyler Chapel Hill in 4A Division 1. What a powerhouse of a district. Like they're such a big powerhouse of a district. We're going to give them their own little segment a little bit later.
I'll keep my comments to myself because this one is tasty.
It's a little tasty. But let's move down to 4A Division 2. We've already mentioned them. Number 2, Gilmer. This team is just always good. And it's kind of like that team that you just think of when you hear East Texas football, Gilmer, Longview. They're undefeated, of course, so far this season, 7-0. They'll probably stay undefeated through the regular season. Their schedule, though, was really, really tough. They had Tyler Chapel Hill, Kilgore, Lindale, and Pleasant Grove.
I mean, heck, they had Paris too. Like, say what you will about Paris, but Paris is just one of those, like...
I'm still not sure about that.
Hi, Siri. Nice to meet you. Women talking football.
She wanted to join.
Siri's
wanted to join.
Yo, I'm a lady. But... I mean, say what you will about Paris, they're just always a rough team to play. Like, if that's not something that you're used to seeing. But this Gilmer team is very interesting because this, to me, is... Can Alan Metzel finally crack the code and get to it? Because we've seen Gilmer in the championship game multiple times, and it has been ugly. I mean, they had the 70 burger dropped on them by Carthage, you know, and then last year it was a much more competitive game, but they let China Spring come out and get it. It's like, man, they're right there. And I honestly don't think that they're going anywhere.
No.
Because they, Gilmer found another quarterback, and it's Caden Tennyson, Brandon Tennyson's younger brother.
Right.
And he's looked exceptional.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was the biggest thing going into the season. That biggest question mark was at that quarterback spot because of the absence of Brandon Tennyson. But yeah, it seems they've got everything figured out.
You know, like what,
absolutely.
Will they make it back? I think that they can make it back to AT&T Stadium, but what will you do when you get there? You know,
right.
Is it going to start turning into a Duncanville to where
exactly like the pressure's too much?
Yeah,
or it's
what
just
is it?
How you perform on the big stage? Like it's just sometimes it bites teams in the butt. Right. You know, like just being there in AT&T Stadium in that environment.
If they go back this year, I'm going to start thinking more along the snake bitten trail of. When are they going to do it?
Yeah, like are they more of a Duncanville, like you said? Right. But anyway, staking in that same division, let's move down to number 7, Texarkana, Pleasant Grove. They are 6-2 on the season, also in District 7 4A Division 2, along with Gilmer. So they had one loss coming from a Louisiana team, which honestly we don't really count because they're from Louisiana. And then, of course, the other loss coming from Gilmer. They had a really, really good win earlier this season against Brock. So definitely deserve to be at that number 7 spot. Only 2 losses, one coming from Gilmer. So very respectable losses.
I was going to say, say what you will about Brock. I think that Brock's a good team. But when I was talking I went to the Brock Wichita Falls Hershey game. And when I was talking to some of the people that I very much trust their opinion on high school football that are familiar with Brock, they were like, we didn't realize how good Pleasant Grove is until we saw Brock play against other good teams like Hershey and stuff like that. But they were like, we just thought, oh, maybe we're a little bit down there. Like, we didn't realize how good, and imagine that they have size again, you know. But that Pleasant Grove team is really cooking.
I think we all kind of thought that same thing too, because we had our eye on that game and we were kind of just like, oh, is Brock down this year?
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's Pleasant Grove is good.
Really good. Yeah.
Really, really good. All right, let's get to our last ranked team in the East Texas region. 3A Division 1, number 3 Malakoff. They are 7-1 on this season, only loss coming from Grandview, and it was of course a really, really close game, only lost by about 4. They should win out the rest of the season with only 2 district games left. Definitely expect them to make some noise in the playoffs because this is a really, really, really good 3A Division 1 team.
Yeah, I mean, this is a high-flying offense. Their defense has looked outstanding so far. And, you know, it's we talked about it, too, that Grandview Malakoff. It's another thing, like when we were talking about Gilmer. Is it something about AT&T? I think that when you talk about Malakoff and Grandview, I think it's something about Grandview that they just consistently can have. Like, they walk off the field, they see Grandview, and it's like, oh, crap, here we go again.
Right.
But I think this is a really, really good Malakoff team that if we see them match up with Grandview later in the season, in the playoffs, we might have a different outcome on that one. Yeah. I like this Malakoff team a lot.
Yeah. So there you go. There are your 7 ranked teams in the East Texas region. Lots of talent out there, lots of talented teams, but even more so, the talented players that we're going to talk about.
Look at that segue by our concierge of vibes.
Gotcha. I'm living up to the name, aren't I? Let's kick it off with the highest classification out there in East Texas, 5A, or 6A, excuse me. Tyler Legacy, defensive end, Jordan Renaud,
I think.
I think it's Renaud, too.
I think it's Renaud.
I don't know. You know I suck at name pronunciation.
Our concierge of Vibe who reads the player names sucks at player names. That's why it's called WTF, my friends.
Yep, absolutely. This dude is really, really good. The 12th best overall player in Texas and the 3rd best defensive end in Texas. He stands at 6'4", weighing 245 pounds. Just an absolute monster on the line. He's quick coming off the edge and just a menace in the backfield. During track season, he runs the 100-meter dash and can keep up with the other sprinters. Talk about fast. Like, this guy's on the line, and they're making him run the 100-meter dash.
Like, that's a lot of
mass. And he keeps
mass.
up with the other sprinters. Like, holy crap. Yes, sign this guy right now. Oh, my gosh. But Yeah, I mean, he's committed to Alabama. No surprise there. And with that much size and speed and the way Alabama just develops their linemen, he's definitely going to be a problem at that next level.
Big dude.
He's a big dude.
He's a certified big dude.
He's a certified big dude with a lot of speed. That is a big pickup from the Crimson Tide. Moving on down, you've already heard his name. Ashley Moore is really high on him. It's a Longview wide receiver, Jalen Hale. He's the 9th overall player in the state and the 2nd best wide receiver in Texas. I think one of the more unique qualities that Jalen has displayed as a receiver is that he kind of plays above his size in contested situations and even after the catch. Like he's got breakaway speed that defensive backs just cannot compete with. And the way he maneuvers around defenders is so impressive. It's like he glides. He layered himself in butter or something. He can just slip through those tiny little cracks. Very impressive. He's got an eye for the ball and has the athletic ability to just grab it from anywhere. Like, you can target him from deep. You can throw him a short little screen pass. Even in situations where the ball is underthrown, his ability to just backtrack and catch it is absolutely amazing. I mean, I can't talk about Jalen Hale and his ability and his athleticism enough. He is seriously the real deal. Of course, he's had his pick of colleges to play for at the next level. He's verbally committed to play at Alabama right now, and he chose really well because the Crimson Tide definitely knows how to develop young receivers. Moving down to Tyler Chapel Hill, offensive tackle, defensive end. Kevion Huddleston. Let me pull it up. 6'4", 235 pounds. He's a big dude. He does play both sides of the ball. He's committed to play at TCU, though, as a defensive end.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's a big pickup for Sonny Dykes.
Huge pickup for the Horned Frogs. He got some snaps at offensive tackle last season. I think he plays a little bit of that this year as well. He's a big reason why Chapel Hill did so well last year in the playoffs. They had a state semifinal appearance, I believe. They made it to the state semifinals. Good Lord, I can't talk. He adds a lot of depth and size and athleticism to the offensive line at Chapel Hill. He's had a couple of pancakes, some sacks, and a fumble recovery already this season, but he will certainly be a really good addition to the Horned Frogs pass rush coming up in a couple years. Moving on down to Pleasant Grove.
Yes. Take it away.
You know, I keep saying move it on down, so I got to throw a little bit of sugar and spice in there a bit.
Add a little bit of spice.
A little bit of spice. Pleasant Grove tight end and defensive end Vic Shaw. By the way, all these guys are committed to play at the next level. D1, by the way. So
yeah, some of the regions
it's phenomenal.
Were really having to put in a lot of effort to get stats and look at players. Like this
took me 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was like, okay, here's 27 of them.
Yeah, let me look at the 2023 rankings of recruits on DCTF website, and they're all right there. Yep. So they're all right there. But Vic Shaw, 6'3", 260 pounds, who was taken. Yeah, I know.
Can you
he's
imagine
huge.
His family's food bill? Like his mom.
I know. I'm sure it's incredibly expensive. But yeah, 6'3", 260. He's taking snaps at offensive tackle, tight end, defensive line, and defensive end, probably a defensive tackle or something. He's athletic, fast, and versatile enough to play at most positions on the line, obviously. He's so big, though, when he's got the ball, he just mauls defenders. Like, I saw one of his highlights as a tight end, and I was just like,
oh my God, that
like he just shakes off defenders like it's nothing. They can't even, it takes like
he is the
6 guys to bring him down.
Being able to utilize your tight end. He's fun. It's fun to watch.
Gosh, it's crazy.
It looks like bully ball, honestly. Like I feel bad for some of the other kids.
Oh my gosh.
It's fun to watch.
It's very fun to watch. It's just incredible. But just like Huddleston with Chapel Hill, Shaw adds depth and size and athleticism to the offensive and defensive line at Pleasant Grove. Expect Shaw. Sorry, I lost my notes here. I was just going to say that Shaw has the ability to run routes and catch the ball, adding a whole lot of more depth just to the team in general. And he is a UTSA commit, and he's going to play defensive end, I believe, there. He's not going to play tight end. Probably a little too small to play tight end, but defensive end he will play. Moving down to Gilmer, wide receiver and defensive back. Rohan Fluellen, 6 foot, 170 pounds. He's tall and lengthy. That's the perfect frame size that you're looking for in a wide receiver. He's going to play wide receiver at the next level, but he currently plays in all 3 phases of the game. He clocked a 10.94 100-meter dash time as a junior, and this guy has some major wheels. He does not lack speed. Last season as a junior, he logged 1,420 yards off 88 receptions and 11 touchdowns. Pretty good.
Man, I can tell you when we're reading through highlights on Bally in their Gilmer highlights, I must say Rohan Fluellen at least 72 times.
Oh, I'm sure. He does it all.
He is the guy.
Yeah. And then on the defensive side, he plays just as well. 8 interceptions and 38 total tackles on the defensive side last season. And he also plays on kickoff return and has 1 return touchdown this season and 2 last season. So he just does it all. He's like one of those players that just makes an immediate impact on the field no matter where you place him.
And no matter how many guys you put on double, triple coverage, he's going to go get his own.
Absolutely. He is committed to play at TCU, and the Horned Frogs just found themselves a gem in this guy who's just got a wide range of a skill set. So big pickup for the Horned Frogs. All right, AP, let's close it out with Mineola running back and linebacker Dawson Pendergrass. And I am sure you've heard his name before because we have said it. You guys have said it on TFT. We've said it on WTF.
I was going to say, he's definitely been up for Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week.
Yes. He is no stranger to the headlines. I actually got to see Dawson play in person a couple weeks ago when Mineola played West Rusk at home. And I think at one point Ish was like, yep, that's Dawson. And I was like, I could have told you that when we first...
We don't need a roster. I know which one he is.
Yeah, absolutely. He is easily the most athletic and most impactful player on the field already this season. I found his stats. Let me take a drink of water real quick before I say these stats because holy crap, there's a lot. 371 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. 1,956 rushing yards off 217 carries and 24 touchdowns. Yes, that's this season. 109 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. Switching over to the defensive side, 14 total tackles, 2 interceptions. And he also plays on special teams. He's blocked an extra point this season already.
Yes. Oh, my God.
You tell me this guy isn't athletic, I'm going to say get out. Like,
it just took me a collective 15 seconds to read his stat line.
Exactly. I mean, just like Fluellen at Gilmer, I mean, he is a guy that once he steps on the field, literally anywhere, you can put him anywhere, and he is going to make an impact in the game somehow, some way. Watch.
He's just one of those that it's just like, how do you do that? What are you doing?
Right. And it's like, Mineola is a good team, right? But Dawson takes them to the next level. I mean, because he can just do it all. He adds a lot of size, a lot of depth to this team. He's just an absolute unit on the field. He's 6'3", 212 pounds. He's just a fun athlete to watch because, he's going to give it his all anywhere. At every snap, every down, he's going to give it his all. And he is currently committed to play running back at Baylor. So, Dave Aranda, you found yourself a good one. And I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him at something else at one point or another. Maybe at linebacker.
Yep.
Who knows? But definitely a fun player to watch. So there you go. I need a drink of water after all that because let me tell you, that is some crazy talent.
Well, and that's the thing too. We always talk about when you look at like the most talented regions, like that's a whole other discussion that we can have at a different time. But quite literally, every single year, it seems like when we do the best regions based off of per capita, as in the number of people or schools in the region compared to, every like the sum of it as a whole, East Texas always has, they're at least in the top 3 of per capita. They have like the most players going to the NFL, like Ashley had mentioned, or, the greatest success when it comes to the playoff, just because it's a smaller region than some like DFW and Houston, but the number of teams making it to AT&T Stadium or players going to the next level, skyrockets.
Right.
It's insane.
Right.
The talent out there.
There's so much talent. And I think, honestly, that's even more impressive than like a DFW, because DFW's got so many teams. I mean, of course, there's going to be a lot of talent out there, but for as many teams that East Texas has compared to DFW, the Houston area, and for that to be that much talent out there, I mean, it's impressive. So,
no doubt.
Yeah, definitely keep your eye on those 6 guys this season, and I'm sure there's much, much more out there.
Yes.
All right, before we get to stonks, there is a district that we want to highlight. We've already kind of mentioned it. It is District 9-4A, Division 1. You got number 8, Kilgore, and you've got number 9, Tyler Chapel Hill. Now, we had another, it was Gilmer and Pleasant Grove. They're also in the same district. I can't for the life of me remember exactly what exact district that was, but this one's I think is more impressive because it's more evenly spread out, because I think in the same district that Gilmer and Pleasant Grove are in, Gilmer's obviously the top dog, right? But in this one, I feel like it's a little bit more spread even, right? So Kilgore started off the year 0-2 because they opened with Carthage and Gilmer. Yeah. So respectable losses. That's why they're still number 8.
Yeah.
Like they played them really well. So
that resume basically gets completely wiped clean when you lose to the top 2 teams in 4.
Yeah, absolutely. But they've gone on a 7-0 run since. So definitely deserve to be number 8. And then Tyler Chapel Hill, number 9, also started off the year losses coming from Gilmer and Van, but have gone on a 6-0 run since then. So definitely deserve to be in that top spot.
Yeah, that loss to Van was a little bit eyebrow
weird.
Raising.
Yeah.
They've definitely collected themselves since then. They're still a young team. I mean, that's a team that made it to the state semifinals. You remember they played LBJ last year in the state semifinals, and they were playing with basically their starting quarterback, wide receiver, number 1 wide receiver, and running back were all sophomores.
Right.
Like, I remember Tep and I stopped by we stopped by to see Jeff Reardon and that whole squad when we went and shot the Scott Surratt cover for the 2020,
I believe.
2020 magazine. Yeah. And he was like, he told us that year, he was like, I think they must have been 8th graders or freshmen. I think they were going into their freshman year because it was during the summer.
Yeah.
And he was like, y'all got to watch out for this class. He was like, we've got it. And he wasn't lying.
No, and they're starting to obviously make an effect now with the team. But yeah, very young team, so it's understandably they're going to make those mistakes and probably not going to win every game. But they've, like you said, have collected themselves. Now they've gone on a 6-0 run. And the best part, these 2 teams haven't even played each other yet.
Yeah, we got week 11 to decide the district championship.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun. And of course, this game will determine the district champion here. But
yeah, because Kilgore's off this week. What is Chapel Hill doing?
Yeah,
they've got a game.
Hill.
Let's see, who are they playing?
I don't remember. Yeah, but anyway, it's going to be such a fun game.
They have Athens, and all due respect to Athens, they're winless in district this year. I think the computer likes Chapel Hill by like 42. So that will literally, they'll both be 5-0 in district championship on the line in week 11 at Valley Sports. So if you're listening, we should send someone out to that game.
Yeah. Heck, I might go out there. Like Chapel Hill, I think it's at Chapel Hill, so it wouldn't be too far of a drive for me. And then of course you've got Lindale. They're usually pretty good. You throw them in the mix as well. They're kind of down this year, but they're usually up there in the mix too.
They had a really tough non-district schedule.
They did.
So that kind of evened out there. But they're a team that I have faith can make some noise in the playoff if they get a couple of things go their way.
Yep, absolutely. So there you go. There is your East Texas district to watch. Make sure you look out for that matchup in week 11 because it's going to be electric. A lot of talent out there, so should be fun. And now, let's get to stonks!
Always try your hand of stonks.
Stonks.
It's just so pretty.
To see it.
You did such a good job on that. I tell you that every week.
Thank you.
It's just so good.
That's one thing I'll gladly accept cred for.
Yep.
My stonks intro.
You should. Nothing else, though. Just your stonks intro.
Just anything
put it on
else,
your resume. Scrap everything else, and then just put stonks on your resume.
It's like, do you have a reel that you can send us? Yeah, I do, actually. It's only 7 seconds long. It's all you need to see.
I love it. But our first victim for Stonks Report is Longview. Yes, we're going to talk about them again because they're really, really, really good. Stonks, to me, are up on all accounts. all across district, all across playoffs, probably going to make it to AT&T Stadium, probably going to win at AT&T Stadium. This team is so good. Now let's go ahead and check on. We'll start with district. We'll check in on District 7-5A, Division 1, and they're just running through it. I mean, I think they have won each game by a significant amount. The only one that they struggled with, and I think Ish was at that game, was against Lancaster. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they are 8-0, and they're outscoring opponents 374-74.
Yeah, that's wild. I think
absolutely unbelievable.
We thought we put them as number 1 in preseason. Coach King has given us his thoughts on that in the kindest words of John King. But I think that we thought they could go wire to wire. Mm-hmm. We felt like they were the best team in 5A Division 1 this year. But I'll tell you, when they played Lufkin, when they went to Lufkin, one of the best rivalries out there in Beast, Texas, it's been going on for years. When they go to Lufkin, a hostile environment to play in, and beat them, was like 56-7. We had Coach King on Football Friday that night, and we're like, dude, and he was like, unbelievable. He was like, they played their best ball tonight. Yeah, and I think that if they're operating like that, I don't think anyone can stop them. I really don't.
No. So with that being said, let's kind of look at the playoff scope for them. Obviously, they're going to finish out the season undefeated. Mm-hmm. The regular season undefeated, I should say. Definitely the favorites probably to come out of 5A Division 1 Region 2, which means they will most likely run into the favorites coming out of Region 1, which is Aledo.
And that, my friends,
tell me a better matchup than that.
Is fun, especially because we had our questions and doubts about Aledo at the beginning of the year when they go and they drop 2 for the first time in X amount of years. This Aledo team has found their footing. Yes. And they look like Aledo. And Longview looks like Longview.
Yes.
Whoo, boy. That one would be a blast. I mean, a blast of a game.
Yeah, I saw Aledo bludgeon a very good Burleson Centennial team a couple weeks ago, and let me tell you, they're the real deal. Longview is the real deal. Tell me a better matchup than that right there.
And let's put the vibes into the atmosphere here. Summon the vibes. We're going to summon the vibes in. I need a Longview PSJA North state championship.
That would be...
We're summoning the vibes. We're putting it out there in the atmosphere. I need it.
That would be fabulous because
I need it.
PSJ North, definitely the favorites to come out of Region 4. Region 3, I'd probably say it's got to be College Station or maybe A&M Consolidated.
Yeah, College Station. Man,
College Station's a little down, but we're going to learn a lot this week because they play A&M Consolidated.
Mm-hmm. When they play, I feel like I will get my answers that I need there because anything other than that, I just don't see anyone out of Region 3 really making a whole lot of noise, which is another reason why we think that this could be the year that a Valley team could actually do it. Now, Miller's looking pretty good too. Yeah. Well, but Miller lost to Vets last week.
Right.
Or to someone. I don't remember who. Miller lost to someone. Maybe it was Vets. I don't know. That whole region just keeps swapping.
Beating each other and stuff.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's really hard to know. But yeah, I mean, we could potentially be looking at a Longview PSJ North state championship for 5A Division 1. And man, that'd be fantastic.
The vibes.
Stonks are up. Stonks are way, way, way up for the Lobos. All right, let's get to our last Stonks report. I'm so excited I get to talk about Sulphur Springs. I love this team. If you guys don't know, I love East Texas. My parents have a house out there in Yanis, Texas, which is about 20 minutes south, something like that, of Sulphur Springs. So very familiar with that area. Now, the Wildcats, they moved from 5A Division 2 down to 4A Division 1 this season due to realignment, and I don't think anything better could have happened for them. Last season, they were 0-10. They did not win a game all season. And now they are 3-0 in district play and 7-1 overall. Absolutely phenomenal. And this is the most wins they've had in a single season since 2013. So congrats to the Wildcats. They are doing fantastic. Definitely, this is due in large part to, of course, their head coach Braden Faircloth. He came from P&G last year. I believe this is his first year at Sulphur Springs. But
Brandon Faircloth.
What'd I say?
I think you said Braden, but maybe I heard you
Brandon
wrong.
Faircloth. Yeah. I remember we interviewed him at coaching school. I do remember that
good guy.
Yeah, good guy. He's done wonders with this team. He also brought his son over, Cooper Faircloth. He's playing wide receiver over there. Definitely one of their more talented players. Definitely a good team.
We mentioned the Week 11 fun earlier that'll be had between who was it? Kilgore and gosh darn it.
From district Kilgore and Chapel Hill.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. But this one also. So this district is going to come down between Sulphur Springs and Anna. You remember that Anna has the new quarterback that transferred in from Allen. They've been,
unbelievable.
They've been unbelievable. But that's another Week 11 game that is going to will likely decide that district. Sulphur Springs still has to play Kaufman on Friday.
That'll be a tough one for them.
Yeah, that's no easy task. So if they were to lose to Kaufman, we might be looking at some sort of three-way tie almost for that district.
Yeah.
If they could go out there and then beat Anna the next week.
Right.
But Anna, I think, would probably be the favorites over Sulphur Springs. But if Sulphur Springs takes care of business but with Kaufman this week, then that one will probably be for the district championship.
Yeah, super excited for them. They'll most definitely make the playoffs as well. First time since 2018, and I was actually at that game in 2018 when they played Frisco at the Star.
Wild.
So that was really, really cool to see. But yeah, first time probably making the playoffs since 2018. So I think district-wise, Stonks are definitely up. I think they still got to work out a couple kinks, of course, with a new coach and new players coming in. But I think they are certainly going to be a team to keep your eye out for here in the next couple seasons in the 4A ranks. So there you go. Future is bright for both the Longview Lobos and the Sulphur Springs Wildcats. There is your Stonks report of East Texas. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching our pre-recorded episode of Women Talking Football. Make sure to subscribe to us on wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. AP, do you have any final words before we get out of here?
I gotta go do business
Stuff with your fancy two-tone blue heels. The vibes are so good over there. It's unbelievable. Thank you to our guest, Ashley Moore. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Mallory Hartley. We'll see you next Thursday on Women Talking Football.